The first thing we're going to do is the math fluency, and we're going to count every other number as 10 and the number that it's with. So the first time through, this is the way I want you to do it. I want you to do 11, 10 and 2, 13, 10 and 4, 15, 10 and 6, 17, 10 and 8, 19, 10 and 10. Then I want you to go back and I want you to do 10 and 1, 12, 10 and 3, 14, 10 and 5, 16, 10 and 7, 18, 10 and 9, 20. Alright, so we are going to finish the word problems that we started last week. And I'm going to do the first one with you, and then I want you to try the next two by yourself, and then I want you to use the video to go back and check your answer, okay? I want to say before we start that when you're drawing out your numbers, if your number is 5 and 3 and 2, I want your drawing to be right below your numbers, okay? Because here's what I saw last week. If it was 5 and 3 and 2, I saw a bunch of this, and so when we're going to circle our numbers and combine them, it makes it hard to combine the numbers. So I want it right here, right below your numbers, so that you can easily circle whatever you need to circle. Even if you need to come over here and pick that one up, it's easy to combine those numbers. So I want it right below the numbers that you write. Okay, but all of these word problems, we're going to make 10 before we try to solve the problem. That is the goal, is to make 10 and then finish solving the problem, because it's going to be easier to add 10 and another number, kind of like we just did with our fluency when we were reading the numbers. Number 1 on page 24 says, Chris bought some treats. He bought 5 granola bars, so I'm going to draw 5 right under there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he bought 6 boxes of raisins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he bought 4 cookies. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, you don't have to draw this part on your paper, but if you remember from where we were doing the number bonds with 10, if you have the number 6, you can combine 6 and 4 to make 10. So, the two numbers that we're going to circle are 6 and 4. Okay, so down at the bottom of your paper where it asks you to do your number sentence, we can write this 2 ways. We can write it 5 plus 6 plus 4, or since we have made 10 right here, we can write it like this: 10 plus, what other number do we have? We have 5. And we know from the way we read our fluency numbers, 10 and 5 makes 15. Okay? So we know that 5 plus 6 plus 4 has to equal 15. So the question is, how many treats did Chris buy? Chris bought 15 treats. Okay? So I want you to do the next 2 by yourself, and then I will show you a different problem that we're going to be working on next. Okay? So number 2, let's see how we did on this. Number 2 says Cindy has 5 cats, and you should have drawn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 goldfish, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 5 dogs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, if you remember from our number bonds with 10, you don't have to draw this part on your paper. But if you have a number bond with the number 10, if you try to plug 7 in there, you know that you have to have a 3 to go with the 7. We don't have a 3. Our other 2 numbers are 5. So we know that 5 has to be one of the numbers, and the other number has to be a 5. And that's exactly how we learn to do our number bonds. 5 and 5 make 10. Okay? So we're going to circle what we drew. 5 and 5 make 10. Okay? So we can write our number sentence 2 ways. We can write it 5 plus 7 plus 5. Or we can take this 10 and say 10 plus, what other number have we not combined together? We've not combined the 7 with anything. So we can write 10 and 7 is 17. So we know that 5 plus 7 plus 5 is also 17. And the question asks, how many pets does Cindy have? Cindy has 17 pets. Alright, on page 25, number 3 says, Mary gets stickers at school for good work. She got 7 puffy stickers, so you should have written 7 puffy stickers. And drawn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6 smelly stickers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 3 flat stickers. 1, 2, 3. If we go back and think about our number bonds with a 10, we know that we can put 7. If I have 7, I also need 3 because 7 and 3 make 10. So the 2 that I'm going to circle are 7 and 3. 7 and 3 make 10. So there are 2 ways I can write my number sentence. I can write it like this. I can write 7 plus 6 plus 3. Or I can do 10 plus 6. Now I know that 10 and 6 make 16. So I know then that 7 plus 6 plus 3 is also 16. So the question asked, how many stickers did Mary get at school all together? She got 16 stickers. Alright, number 4 is a little bit different. And so I'm going to go ahead and show you how we do it so that you can go ahead and see the problem. But this is something that we will actually work on in a couple of lessons. But I do want you to go ahead and see how we do this problem. This one's kind of neat. It's a little bit different. We don't have 3 numbers. We have 2. So, number 4 says, Jim sat at a table with 4 teachers and 9 children. And what our goal here is going to be is we're going to decompose the smaller number so that we can fit 10 into a 10 frame. We're still making 10, we're just going to do it a little bit differently, okay? So, we're going to go ahead and draw a 10 frame, and I want you to write this on your paper like I'm doing it, okay? And then, so that when we get to doing these problems in a couple of lessons, you'll kind of have an idea how we're going to do it. Okay, so we know that our bigger number is 9, and we know that when we're counting on, we start with the big number because it is much easier to start with the big number and count on from the big number. So we're going to go ahead and draw 9 in the 10 frame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay? So I've got one space left that I could add another number. And here's how I'm going to do that. I'm going to take the 4 and I'm going to turn this into a number bond. Okay? I need one more to go right here. So half of my number bond is going to be a 1. If I have a 1, I know that 1 and 3 go together to make 4. 1 and 3 make 4. Okay? So I have enough space to put this 1. Okay? So there's my 10. There's my 10. So I've taken care of that number. I've taken care of that number. And now I still have one additional number. Okay? So I'm going to draw this over here outside of the 10 frame because I can't fit those 3 into the 10 frame. So I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3. Okay? So when we look at writing this number sentence, we're still going to have the same number of add-ins that we can put right there, but it's going to be, we're going to take it from the number that we decomposed. So we can write it 1 plus 3 plus 9, okay? That's using this information. Or we can write it using this information. We can write it 10 plus 3. We know that 10 and 3 make 13. So we also know that 1 plus 3 plus 9 will equal 13. And so the question said, how many people were at the table where Jim sat? There were 13 people. So we are still going to be working with 3 add-ins, and we are still going to be making 10, but we're going to do it a little bit differently. These are not word problems, they're straight calculation. So we're going to circle the numbers rather than drawing them out. We're going to circle the numbers that will make 10, then we're going to make a number bond, and then we're going to use a 10 frame as well. Okay? So, on page 34, this is lesson 2 in this series. Number 1 has 7 plus 3 plus 4. So we know that the 7 and the 3 can make 10. Okay? So when we look at our number bond that's just below, we know that 7 and 3 make 10. The other number, though, that we have to deal with is a 4. Okay? So, if we look at putting this in a 10 frame, we're going to start with the largest number. So, we're going to start with 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we know that we need 3 more to go into that 10 frame. So 1, 2, 3. And then how many do we have to put on the outside of the 10 frame? You have to put 4. So we're going to draw that like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you guys can use colored pencils to do that. Alright, so we know we've got 10 right here because this is a 10 frame and there are 10 in the 10 frame. So we've got 10 plus 4. So we know that 10 and 4 make 14. We also know that if 10 and 4 make 14, that we can also say 7 plus 3 plus 4 equals 14. Okay? So both of those number sentences are true. Number 2. Number 2 is 9 plus 1 plus 4. Okay? So we know that if we're going to fill out our number bond, we need to use the 9 and 1 because 9 and 1 make 10. The other number that is not circled is the number 4. Okay? So we can come over here and look at the other part of the problem. We're going to start with 9 because that's our largest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And going with the counting on principle, we need one more. So we've got 9, and if we count one more, that is 10. So we know that in our 10 frame, we now have 10. We still have to add this 4 though. So we're going to add over here 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So now let's write this number sentence. We know that we have 10 plus 4 more, and we know that 10 and 4 is the number 14. So, if 10 plus 4 equals 14, we know that 9 plus 1 plus 4 also equals 14. So both of these number sentences are true. Number 3. Number 3 has 5 plus 6 plus 5. Okay? And in order to make 10, we know that 5 and 5 make 10. So in our number bond down here, we're going to put 5 and 5 make 10. Okay? The other number that we have not dealt with yet is 6. Okay? So, coming over to our 10 frame. Actually, they're both the same, so we don't really have to pick a larger number to start with to count on. But we can start right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Takes care of that number. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That takes care of that number. And then we have 6 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, when we go to write this number sentence, we're going to write 10 plus 6. And we know that 10 and 6 is the number 16. So, if 10 plus 6 equals 16, we also know that 5 plus 5 plus 6 equals 16. Okay, I want you to try number 4 and 5 by yourself and use the video to check it. Okay. Now that you guys have done that on your paper, I'm sure, number 4 has 4 plus 3 plus 7. The two numbers that we would combine together are 3 and 7. 3 and 7 make 10. So your number bond, to finish your number bond down here, you would write 3 plus 7. And then the other number that we need to include is the number 4. So, and if you'll notice, the 10 frame is not drawn for you. So you have to draw your own. So we're going to start with the largest number because it's easier to count on from the largest number. And in the 10 frame, we're going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got the 7. And then 3 more. So 8, 9, 10. So we've taken care of that. Now we just have that to take care of. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So completing this number sentence, we will have 10 plus 4. And we know that 10 and 4 is the number 14. Looking back at this one, we know that if 10 and 4 is 14, we also know that 3 plus 7 plus 4 also equals 14. And number 5. Number 5 has 2 plus 7 plus 8. And we know that to complete this number bond, we have to use the numbers 2 and 8. Okay? So coming down, we're going to write 2 plus 8 plus the other number is 7. Then we're going to come over here and draw a 10 frame to count on. So we're going to start with the biggest number in the number bond, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 2 more. 9, 10. And then we have a 7 in addition to that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we know that 10 and 7 together make the number 17. If 10 and 7 make 17, we also know that 2 plus 8 plus 7 is 17. So both of those number sentences are now true. Numbers 6 through 9 takes away the 10 frame. So here's how we're going to do it. We're going to go straight from the number bond to complete the number sentence. Okay? So, number 1, the problem is 9 plus 1 plus 5. Now we can draw out the 10 frame, we can draw out the number bond, but I would really like to see if y'all can go straight from the number bond to the answer. Okay? So, we know that 9 and 1 are the two numbers that make 10. So that's what our number bond would be. 9 and 1 make 10. And we know that 10 and 5 is 15. Number 7. 8 plus 2 plus 4. We know that 8 and 2 make 10. We also know that 10 and 4 is the number 14. Number 8. 3 plus 5 plus 5. We know that 5 and 5 are the two numbers that we need for our number bond to make 10. And we know that 10 and 3 is the number 13. Number 9. 3 plus 6 plus 7. We know that 3 and 7 are the two numbers that we need for our number bond to make 10. We know that 10 and 6 is 16. Alright, so this is your exit ticket. So I want you to try this by yourself and then use the video to check. I also want a 10 frame on this one, okay? So try that by yourself and then use the video to check it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to circle the two numbers that make 10. We know that 8 and 2 make 10. Filling out our 10 frame, we're going to start with the big number. So that's 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 2 more. 9, 10. And then we also have the 3. So 1, 2, 3. So in our number sentences, we know we can write it like this. 8 plus 2 plus 3. We also can write it like this, because we know that 8 and 2 make 10, so we can write it like 10 plus 3. And we know that 10 and 3 is the number 13. So if 10 and 3 is 13, we know that 8 plus 2 plus 3 is also 13. Okay, part B of your exit ticket. We know that we can write this number sentence just the way it's written. 7 plus 4 plus 3. But it would be easier to work this out if we made 10 first. We know that 7 and 3 make 10. So we're going to come over here and we're going to draw our 10 frame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we know that we still have the add-in 4 to add in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So we know that 10 and 4 make 14. So if 10 and 4 make 14, we also know that 7 plus 4 plus 3 is also 14. Okay, so we're going to go back, and we're going to, this time what we're going to do, we're going to go straight to our number bond without drawing it out, but we're going to rearrange the numbers. Okay, so number 1 has 6 plus 2 plus 4, because it doesn't matter what order those numbers come in. We can add 6 plus 2 plus 4, or we can add 6 plus 4 plus 2, or we can add 4 plus 2 plus 6. We can add it however we want. But we know that 6 and 4 make 10. So I want to reorder it first and write my numbers that make 10. So we're going to write 6 plus 4. And I want you to show that in a number bond. I want you to show me that you understand that 6 and 4 make 10. Okay? And then the other add-in that we don't have written there is the number 2. And then when we come over to write our full number sentence, we will have 10 plus 2. And we know that 10 and 2 make 12. Number 2, 5 plus 3 plus 5. Okay, we know that 5 and 5 make 10. And we also know that it doesn't matter what order these numbers come in. Okay, so we're going to do the two numbers that make 10 first. So I've got 5 and 5. And I want you to show me that you understand that it's those two numbers that are making 10. I want you to show me that in a number bond. So the other add-in that we need to include is the number 3. So when we come over here to our full number sentence, we know that we can say 10 from right here plus 3. We know that 10 and 3 is 13. So we're going to write those first because it doesn't matter what order we write those numbers in when we're adding. So we can write 2 plus 8. And again, I want you to show me that you understand that it is 2 and 8 that combine together to make 10. Show me that in a number bond. And the other add-in is 5. Okay? So when we look at our number sentence, we know that 10 and 5 is 15. Number 4 has 2 plus 7 plus 3. So you'll notice now that the number bond is on this side of the problem. We're not starting with the number bond because, again, it does not matter what order the numbers come in. So we know that 7 and 3 are the two numbers that we need to combine together to make 10. So we're going to go ahead and write 7 and 3, and our other number is a 2, because I want you to be able to show that 7 and 3 combine to make 10. So if we come over here, now the first number is going to be a 2. Now you could write it 10 first, but we're going to write it like this time. 2 and 10 make 12. Number 5. 3 plus 5 plus 7. We know that 3 and 7 will make the number 10. And I want you to show me that in a number bond, that you understand that 3 and 7 are 10. Okay? Then the other number that we need to deal with is the number 5. So, when we come over to write our number sentence, we know that 5 and 10 is 15. Number 6, 4 plus 8 plus 2. We know that 8 and 2 are the two numbers that we're going to use for our number bond. So 8 plus 2, show me in a number bond that you understand that that makes 10. And then we have the number 4. So when we write our number sentence, we're going to write it like this. 4 plus 10, and we know that 4 and 10 make 14.